All right, all right. Happy Thursday, everybody. Big waves to you. Good to see you. Yes, yes. Arlena, I'm waving at you, lady. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. All right. Arlene thought I was talking to her. I'm usually talking to her. So good to see everybody this morning. Happy Thursday. Love that you're a part of our community. And the word for this morning, and I'm going to try to do it justice because I purposely didn't write a whole lot down because it really made me think. And I want you to think about you this morning when I say this word, observe. When I think about the word observe, it's like notice and register it as being significant. To watch carefully, especially with attention to detail. Now, I thought immediately about Alan White. If nobody knows Alan White owns his own concrete company, and they do a phenomenal job. Like, they are some of the best sought after individuals to do concrete work in our area. But guess what? I didn't use him. I used someone else to do concrete work, and I still got headaches. I still got heartburn from it. I share that with you to say it could be the difference between what Alan White observed as he was learning to do concrete, observing, watching carefully, attention to detail, versus the gentleman that did mine. Both can do concrete. One puts a smile on your face when you see it, and one gives you heartburn when you see it. You know, and it's all because of probably the way they came up, their attention to detail. I share that with you because, and that's the truth, like they're unbelievable. But facts have to be discovered by observation, not by reasoning. I come across that when I was thinking about the word observe, and then I thought about myself. I thought about my health. I thought about my finances. I thought about my business, my profession, what I want to grow in. And I thought, who am I observing that's going to get me to where I want to go? And the Brent Palmer 10 years ago is wanting to go somewhere different than the Brent Palmer today. What about you? Who are you observing today that's going to help aid in getting you to where you want to go? Like, if Alan White would have went to a concrete finisher that did terrible work when he was learning to do, it could have completely changed his direction. But that's not what he did. Now, it could have been because he might tell you it was because he just lucked into it and had the right person in his life that he could observe from that was really good, or he might actually sought after that person. But my question to you is, if you're trying to transform your body right now, who are you observing? If you're trying to transform your finances, would you go to a broke person? If you're trying to transform your business or your profession, would you observe? Like, who would you observe? And so it really got me thinking this morning. And I believe that we've got to know our direction. I said before, the direction I was at 10 years ago is not the direction I'm headed today. We got to know our direction, and then we got to know or have an idea of who to observe in the direction we're headed right now. Does that make sense? Like, give me some head nods, give me some, you know what I'm saying? It goes back to you become the 5 people you hang out with the most. But I believe you either thrive in the direction you want to hit or you don't, based off who you're observing that's going to help get you there. And so I was thinking about this. What if Dwight Owens wanted to be a sports writer, but he observed an obituary writer rather than a sports writer? Both of them are good writers, but they both are going in different directions with their writing. And Dwight wanted to be a sports writer, but he went in the direction with an obituary writer, and it didn't get him to where he wanted to go. Does that make sense? So I challenge you this morning. Why do I say that? I'm thinking about myself, and I'm thinking, is the person you're observing right now been to where you want to go? Like if I'm trying to get six-pack abs, if you're trying to get six-pack abs, you probably don't want to observe me. Let's say it that way. If you're wanting to get six-pack abs, you might want to observe somebody that has got it or has had it. Okay? And they can lend a hand to get you to where you want to go. So, is the person you're observing been where you want to go? And across observation, we got to be aware of the pretenders. Have you ever observed somebody and then you got to know them a little bit and went, ooh, they're pretenders. They didn't actually do it. They just said they did. Business professions are, this happens a lot. Hard to do it in your health. You can kind of observe that and know if they're healthy or not. But man, when people say how successful they've been, have they really? Have you checked up? Facts have to be discovered by observation, not by reasoning. I watch this all the time in profession. Everybody can make a reel, everybody can cop a video, everybody can say how successful they are. But through the facts of observation, are they really? And I challenge all of us to fact check if who we're observing is really someone that's been there and done it and can help aid in getting us to where we want to go in that direction. And that's kind of where I came up with observe. So Andrea, I'm going to turn it to you because we got a little time here at the end because we have somebody. I might have said her name a minute ago. Oh, okay. All right.
Secret.
Top
secret. We got to stay to the end if you want to hear the beautiful song, because we're going to observe a beautiful lady's birthday today. So great message, Coach. What the quote that I found was, just sit back and observe. You learn more that way. And I thought, gosh, that's true. When I can close my mouth and pay attention to what's going around or going on around me, I learn so much more. But sometimes I can get into a space where I am observing. And what I mean by that is I'm noticing and I'm giving all of my mental attention to the negative stuff. Can anybody else get a little guilty of that? That like I'm paying attention to the traffic, or I'm paying attention to the dishes in my sink, or I'm paying attention to the times that, you know, my kids didn't jump when I said jump, whatever it may be. And I'm not noticing, I'm not observing all the good stuff that I'm surrounded by. So what I looked into today is, what should we observe? What should we notice and give attention to in order to be happier humans? That's what I'm going to focus on today. So first of all, gratitude. When we notice, when we observe our gratitude, it lifts our whole spirit. We've all seen it. We've got a beautiful Canadian gratitude journal right here. And when we're focused on this, we are happier, healthier humans. Number two is the positive moments. There are so many things that happen during our day that are positive. They might be small. It might be that, you know, when Hank took that first little sip of his coffee and it was the perfect temperature and the perfect flavor, and he went, right? Like that. You don't even really think about it. It's just that little, and then you move on. It could be that moment, or it could be, you know, the deer the mama deer that has her brand new baby up there in Colorado. Hopefully staying away from those bears, but you get to see it, or a bird flitting by, or that your teeth are extra clean right after you brush them. Like, I don't know, but there are little tiny positive moments throughout our day. And if we give that our attention, gosh, the whole day is going to feel better. The third one is our feelings. We need to observe our feelings, because maybe we're walking around like a grumpy monkey and we haven't even noticed. Like, we're growling at people and we're being short, or we're just not being the human we want to be, because we're not paying attention to like what's going on in here, because we're just too caught up in it. So take a moment, slow down and say, okay, what's going on in here? So we can get the negative out of the way if we need to. Number 4 is opportunities for personal growth. Again, we have that all the time. It could be a podcast we tune into, or a book we're reading, or an audio, or Coach's Corner, or the IPA call. I don't know, but there's opportunities all around us to grow as humans if we're noticing them. Meaningful connections. Something that I could absolutely give more attention to, observe more of, is the beautiful people in our lives. Picking up the phone. There's so many people that each of us love that we'll talk to, I don't know, once a month, when we could, if nothing else, shoot them a little text and say, hey, just wanted to know that you're loved today. Have a beautiful one. But focus on those connections, because that's really what matters all over the place. Our self-care. So observe what you're eating, how you're caring for yourself, your mind and your body. Are you giving yourself enough attention? Right? Are you loving on Diane enough, and Karen enough, and Rochelle enough to care for that body, and the gentleman too? The good stuff taking place in between your ears. Sometimes we focus on the negative talk, right? Where I'm like, ooh, I'm not enough, whatever it is. But there's nice things happening in here too. So pay attention to that. Listen to the positive voices that you're hearing sometimes. And then lastly, the good stuff happening in our world. Could be a dear person's birthday, or again, those little birdies, you guys know I love them, or flowers that you walk by, or gosh, when you see somebody else do an act of kindness, or maybe you do it yourself, just the small moments of beauty, and that makes the rest of the day a little bit better. So that's what I had today, Coach.
Hey, this was a good one. I enjoyed today. Yeah. So hope you had a great Thursday. And so Miss Arlena Reed. Yes, it's your birthday. So everybody has got to go on, if you will, please do it. And in the chat,